So my viewers challenged me to switch it up a little bit and make something educational, so here I am reviewing every single Aim-7 in Warthunder. And if you want to vote on the stupid polls, you can join the Discord server too, link in the description. The Aim-7 series is a series of semi-active radar homing missiles in Warthunder. Semi-active radar homing, in a nutshell, basically means your radar, the mothership aircraft, has to be guiding the missile all the way to its target. You cannot lose lock because the missile does not have an onboard guidance system. There is one version of the Aim-7 that can kind of bypass this, that being the latest Aim-7P. However, the version that we're going to be starting at, the Aim-7C, is a long ways away from the Aim-7P. So let me get my tier list out and we'll get started. Oh, also, forgot this. In regards to the tier list, I am well aware that different strokes apply for different folks, okay? One person may love a missile, another person may hate a missile, and that's completely fine. The tier list is mostly based off of my personal experience using the missile and people's opinions on Reddit and Discord, okay? I'm trying to be as fair as I can. Any constructive criticism would be appreciated. So this right here is the Aim-7C, and it is found on only one aircraft in game that I know of, being the F-3H Demon. This is the first of the Aim-7 that you'll find in your War Thunder career, and subsequently it's also one of the worst. This version of the Aim-7 was originally meant to take out large chunky bombers, so its flight performance is not very good for taking out small maneuverable fighters, which is what you'll be seeing a lot at 9.0. On top of its very questionable flight performance, the Aim-7C also experiences a 2-second guidance delay. Because of this delay, the missile can only start pulling its Gs until after the rocket motor has expired, which makes it lose energy even faster on top of its poor flight performance. Now on our tier list here, the Aim-7C will be going into not worth your time. It is too slow and wildly inconsistent to score fighter kills unless in extremely situational means. Okay, next on our list we have the Aim-7D, which is more or less just a rebadged Aim-7C, but it has one key advantage. The Aim-7D's rocket booster was madly improved. It can now hit shots of up to 10 kilometers or 6 miles. However, it still does retain that 2 seconds guidance delay. On top of the already present guidance delay, there are also only 3 platforms in-game that carry this missile, that being the American F-4C and the 2 Japanese early F-4EJs. Now, as regards for your platforms, the F-4EJs just receive a better version of the Sparrow for you to use entirely, the Aim-7E, and the F-4C is just universally agreed upon to be a pretty bad platform due to its lack of countermeasures. Now, the missile is a direct upgrade over the Aim-7C, however, because your platforms either receive just a better missile entirely, or they just flat out suck, this missile will be going into not worth your time. You'll probably want to skip it as soon as you get it in the F-4EJs anyways. Okay, continuing on to our third missile, the Aim-7E. This is also the first Sparrow in game I'd really say is worth your time at all. You'll commonly find this missile on most of the F-4 Phantoms in War Thunder. The only few that lack them are the American Naval Phantoms and most of the German Phantoms. I believe the current AS-2000 also does not have this missile. There may be more, but most F-4 Phantoms do have this version. In regards to its upgrades over the Aim-7D, the E version has a much better seeker, making it guide to targets a lot better than the older variants did. In regards to how it flies, the Aim-7E retains much more of its energy and accelerates much faster than the D and the C. Granted though, it was tailored for taking out agile fighters over Vietnam, so there's your answer. It does still struggle a little bit at close range, as you do still have that short guidance delay. However, it's much less of a problem due to the missile just overall being better. On our little tier list here, the Aim-7E will be going to situational, worth using on occasion, because it does have a brother that does the same job, but much better, that being the Aim-7E2. British mains may know this missile also as the Sky Flash dogfight. So you know the seeker delay on the older versions of the Sparrow? Yeah, how about we just do away with that and make it around half a second? Close range performance, you say? Just make it pull 25 Gs off the rail. That'll work just nicely. Range? I don't think we'll need that. All in all, if you like dogfighting and getting into the mix, this Sparrow is for you. It excels at around 4 miles or 6 kilometers if you're European and weird. Pulls off the rail basically instantly, and is overall really good, especially paired with that of the F-14A's radar, which I really like it on. Overall, direct upgrade over the Aim-7E, especially if you like getting into the mix, so on the tier list, I'll be putting this thing into the first tier. Worth using and consistent. It's actually pretty good if you think about it, especially if you know your airframe pretty well. Okay, now the next 2 missiles are actually pretty strange. The Aim-7F and Aim-7M in real life are actually pretty different. The Aim-7M has a much better seeker head and a few other changes. However, in-game, these 2 missiles are coded the exact same way. Both of them are good at basically any role you need them to do. Head-ons, they perform. Long range, they kind of perform. Your enemy just has to be an idiot. My only real gripe with them is that they're kind of slow compared to some of the things you're fighting, like the R-27ER. Seriously, that thing's fast as hell. Now, in regards to the ranking, I'm going to rank the Aim-7F higher than the M, mainly because of the BR difference. The Aim-7F can be found as early as 12.0, and at 12.0 it's actually pretty good. But the Aim-7M can be found as late as 13.0 on the F2A Air Development Testing Wing. Seriously, whose idea was this? Another thing that pisses me off about the Aim-7M is that Gaijin kind of markets it as an upgrade, like M over F, and it's found a step higher in BR, just for them to perform the exact same. It feels like a rage bait. So if you have access to Fox 3s on your plane, use this missile to grind, or just skip it entirely. In regards to the Aim-7F, for its BR, it's actually pretty good, so I'll be putting that into the top tier. Okay, just 2 more things on the list, and then we're done. Let's start with the Aim-7P. It's alright. You're more or less just a copy-pasted Aim-7M flight model, but you get one key thing about this missile, or rather 2, that are pretty cool. First of all, I found it to be pretty forgiving with the radar locks compared to the 7M and 7F. I've been able to hit some pretty interesting shots with this missile, so its seeker's not too bad either. Another thing you can do is the R27ER technique, where you can lob the missile in the air, turn off your radar, and then turn it back on as the missile's coming back down for orbital strikes and shit, so that's also pretty cool. All in all, at least for me, the upgraded seeker head kind of fixes the Aim-7's weirdness, so I'm going to put the Aim-7P into the top tier. It's pretty good on the premium Hornets too, but at 14.0 as a stopgap solution with the Hornet C and Hornet D, it can be a bit troublesome, but it's alright. Okay, last missile, and I personally think this is the best Sparrow in Warthunder, but that's just my personal opinion, okay? Take this with a grain of salt. The Sky Flash SuperTEMP is a version of the Aim-7 custom built for that of the Tornado F3, the air defense variant. It is found in Great Britain and Italy. Now, what makes this missile pretty good is the fact that it can go a bit faster than the Aim-7F and M. You get Mach 4.4 over the default Mach 4 of the 7F and 7M, so it's a bit faster, and the platform that's on it. I do think the air defense tornadoes are some of the best semi-active radar homing carriers in all of Warthunder. They're pretty fast, you know, they've got a bit of speed on them. The Fox Hunter radar is nothing to be trifled with at 12.0. It's really good, and overall, they're just good platforms. The only thing you'll really want more performance in is in a dogfight, but you're fast, you have countermeasures, so... And the Sky Flash SuperTEMP really shines on this platform. Because of the Tornado being a good platform, at least for me, and the Sky Flash SuperTEMP being a faster Aim-7M, which was somewhat of a problem that the Aim-7M had, I'll be putting the Sky Flash SuperTEMP into worth using and consistent. Well, I believe that's every single Aim-7 in Warthunder. Here's the full tier list if you want to see it. I know I probably missed a couple export variants and all that. The only one I really covered was the Sky Flash dogfight. I apologize. I didn't really want to go into the nitty-gritty like that, as I know people don't really watch long videos, and I want to rush this out a bit quick so I have time to make a video on Nuclear Thunder, which just came out this week. If you like these little productions I make, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe. We're almost at 1,000, I think, as of me making this, so, you know, maybe I can crack that by the end of the summer. If you don't like these things I make, let me know in the comments. This is my first time trying to make something educational or give any sort of advice, so yeah. Just let me know what you think. If you could be respectful about it, that'd be nice. People, I know Warthunder is not the nicest community, so I appreciate your hospitality. Thank you. Here's more shit you can watch.